And we are back. This is episode 28, I believe, right? Am I wrong? My people, 28, 27, 20, 27, 28,
Se-
27.
27.
Okay, we 27. 27 in 27 weeks, 27 episodes. I am your thankful, gracious, most humble, and retroactive host of the Lyrical Ones podcast. And June, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, Sin. It's finals week next week, so I've been studying hard. But besides that, it's just nice to see it gear up a little close to the holidays. If you're in California, we have a shelter in place. Maybe visiting extended family is pushed back for next year, but I'm just happy for the time and place that we have together now.
No, that is definitely true. That is definitely true. Be thankful as you can, however you see fit, to what we do have access to and we do have in our reach. Our Fluent, how we doing this evening?
I'm blessed, man. It's definitely a different type of holiday season in some ways. But for the last couple years, December 9th has been a great day to surf in the Bay Area. The water's still too cold to do much, but it's pretty. And if you got a wetsuit and booties and you built for it, then it was a great day to surf. And if not, it's a great day to see the sunset. The sky was beautiful during sunset. Hopefully anybody caught that. Um, we on the west side, Pacific Standard Time, and we got a few weeks left in the year, and I'm really excited for how it's going to end. The final story arc of 2020 has begun. Uh, Attack on Titan season 4 has just started. It's good things going on, and I like the theme song so far. Opening credits is cool. It's a great day. Another great Wednesday.
Talking about greatness. I mean, for those that don't have the visual opportunity to watch this and just peep the audio, Affluent, what are you rocking today? Is that a Dragon Ball do rag and the hoodie? And what's on the hat? What is going on? What's this drip we got going on the screen? For those that don't know, please be descriptive as possible.
Okay, so I do have a Dragon Ball do rag. Shout out to Thundercat. He actually got a song called Dragon Ball do rag. Um, and I got a Gretzko hoodie from their pop-up shop. It's a San Francisco edition, a Gretzko Golden Gate Bridge black hoodie. And I do have on my Capital Gains Co. Snapback with the detachable decal. So you can switch it out for the other, but we'll save that for another time because that Velcro sounded really loud. Um, yeah, it's a great day, but black and orange, like the city I'm from. So we got too many black hoodies probably, I think, in the Bay Area. Just, you probably got 3 or 4 or 5. Just you need a black hoodie for any day of the week and any evening. No matter how hot it is, it's gonna cool down. But we got a guest today. Um, to introduce our guest, Cineo, tell us about your day because we got an artist on the show, and I really want to get to this artist.
Well, I mean, my day's been illuminated by your representation of black and orange, and for those that don't know, I'm an artist, and I was able to finally get a piece of the puzzle in that I needed to kind of get the ball rolling. So, for those that know, those that don't know, there's a project out. It's called Let's Get It Gospel. 7 tracks, 30 minutes. Go and listen to it and tell me what you think, right? If it's garbage, if it's trash, please, by all means, let me know. I'm more than appreciative of all reception. I enjoy it. But, if you can't tell, there's a logo behind me. I'm back I'm going hard, right? So the metal is necessary when you're going hard. So with that, Jen, what brings you to the Lyrical Ones podcast?
Hey, what's up, guys? So I know Lacey, who is the producer,
Nice.
via Yo House Music Collective. Is basically part of yeah, it just started not too long ago, and then it just happened to be kind of people from all over the place gathering virtually. Um, yeah, people who are passionate about music. Um, and then, yeah, I met Christian and Lacey through that. And then, yeah, and then she
The rest
invited
is
me.
history.
Yeah, basically,
Nice,
we are writing history.
nice. So Jen, what type of art is your forte?
So I am originally a guitarist. Then I kind of dabbled into music production in the past year. Then yeah, I'm trying to figure my way with all this thing. So that's it.
Okay, okay. So, when it comes to guitar playing, when did you get introduced to that? Like when did that relationship start to develop?
I was actually forced into learning guitar. I think I was around age 13. My brother wanted to pick up guitar, and then my mom just kind of threw me along under the boat. So I started off playing classical guitar, and I was this fat Asian chubby kid playing trying to play classical guitar, and then I hated it obviously, and I was not good enough. I remember crying in front of my teacher because I couldn't play certain things, and that was my first traumatic experience. So I quit guitar after that, and probably a couple of years later, I heard some of the songs from Guns N' Roses, and it was a magical moment for me. I saw Slash playing, and I knew I wanted to pick up electric guitar. And from there, yeah, I kind of dabbled into lots of different genres of music. Um, I was in kind of a rock and roll band, I played in heavy metal band. I went through this huge heavy like metalhead stage in my life, um, and yeah, kind of stuck. Guitar was always like it was always there for some reason.
Okay. So it was definitely it was the first relationship that you learned to kind of create your own kind of meaning, your own development of like, this is what it's gonna mean to me from here on out. Like that's what you're saying, more or less, right?
Yeah, in a way. And I think it was fortunate. I was fortunate enough to find different artists who are also guitarists, who I found their music really engaging and inspiring. So once I found, different guitarists who inspire me, I kind of trailed into their genres of music, and then so forth and so on.
Okay, okay. How much of the basis of like that initial being thrown into it supported you with then getting reacquainted to it? Like what was that? Like was it kind of like you quit and that's it? Or was it like there's remnants that you just have and you hold on to, and then when you are reintroduced to it, you're like, this is now I have something, I have a base. So now I get to build off of that base.
Hmm. Well, I don't think I could say I had much of a base, just because I was too young, and I quit such a at a I didn't give much a shot, to be honest. So I think it was more of an emotional attachment. Like when I first picked it back up, it was just like I was a little afraid if I was going to go through that traumatic experience again. So that's probably the only thing.
Okay, okay. And so given that, I mean, what's the context? Take us back, right? Like where were you at in the world at that tender age of 13 years old? Like, what like you were in middle school? Like what was the environment like for you to be forced into guitar? And what was like, the context of that?
Yeah, sure. So, kind of moving back, um, I was born and raised in Korea, and then when my family moved to Riverside County, Temecula, that's where I grew up all throughout high school until high school. And I think when I got here, just that whole transition phase, I was not very good at English. I was very awkward, really shy kid. So my thing was I need to find something to just fit in. And I always had this kind of spirit of misfit. So I was always drawn towards kind of like rock and roll guys, punk guys, who have that kind of spirit, misfit spirit. Um, yeah. Now I forget the question here.
Well, I mean, it was just about building the context of like, you know, being 13, you know, you saying you're a young Korean boy in Riverside, California, right? Like,
That's right. That's right.
so what was there like what were your interests at the time? Like what were the things that were like these like you know, guitar you're forced into it, but what were the things that you're like, okay, these are my things. These are my kind of markers of my identity, or what the things that I hold and cherish. So what were those things at 13?
At that age, I was playing a lot of computer games. It's a big thing in Korean culture. Like everybody, you're a weird one if you don't play games. So that was a huge thing for me. I also picked up skateboarding, which was a lot of fun. So I was around a lot of skaters, just a lot of goofballs. I think at a heart, I'm a troll. So that kind of explains why. But yeah, I think I didn't have too many interests. I'm the type of guy who have a couple interests, but like I really like those kind of things and go into depth. So video games, skateboarding, those are kind of the big thing at an early age.
Nice. Jen, do you feel like because of those cultures, you were kind of trolling your parents, and like you going into electric guitar, into metal was also like trolling that classical like music that they had tried to force on you?
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. I still remember my first heavy metal show. My mom came to the show, and then I remember just looking at her. She just like stared at me like blank, and that was like the best troll moment in a way.
Nice.
So yeah, there's definitely an element to that.
Yeah, and then that trauma that you felt from not being like so great at the classical guitar, uh, do you find um, any remnants of that emotional activation now in life? And then how do you handle it? And then how does it uh, help you to like create from that in in your music, especially in like your music production?
Mm, dang, that's a good question. So this is probably the reason why I was kind of hesitant to come on this show because at the moment I feel really kind of stuck with my music, um, and I was kind of losing the sight of what I wanted to do with music. Where in the first place, I just invested my time in music just for the love of it, and then yeah, I kind of lost sight of that just during this season. So I was in this very awkward, hazy phase.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm trying to figure out like how to
Now you're
navigate that.
you're welcome to like to process that here, man. Like the project that Cineo just put out. We won't talk about how long it took him, how long that project,
Hey,
how much time he put into that. That's
we're gonna talk about it real quick. Let's talk about
okay. Okay. All right,
Let's hear it.
we go.
I'm
All right,
curious.
so like it's a few years in. I'm gonna let him talk about that, but I think I know for myself as an artist, as a creator, I'm always in that space of, am I doing this to kind of as an out of obligation of an identity that I'm holding on to, right? Or am I doing this, because I love it? Am I, still passionate about it? And sometimes for me, I have to get back to like redefining or re-examining my identity and say what are the things that make me me, what are the layers and what are the facets that I walk out of the house with and say that's my identity, before anyone else gives me another message, right? Like what's unique and relevant and genuine to me, and my purpose, my design, and what are those things in today, what are those things in the week, what are those things in a pandemic, in a summer. I have to always like re-examine those things and say, what am I doing this for? What's my why? Is my why, the why that I had before, still relevant today? And if I'm stuck, what is there, what's going to get me unstuck? What am I, why do I feel like I'm stuck, if I'm even in silence, right? What am I refusing to take on or challenge mentally, emotionally, um, that will help me to break free and release and continue to create, Cineo, like um, what type of weight, is kind of off your shoulders today, in your release of this project, and these tracks, and what you got, 8 tracks on there?
Seven, 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 seven. So okay, let's get a little world building first. I just want a little tangent. Jen, do you still play games today?
Uh, Not too much.
Okay,
But if I do, I play a lot.
okay.
There are
And
pockets of time where I
were you
do.
playing like MMORPGs when you were younger?
Yeah.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
so we're gonna come back to that because
All right.
there's multiple threads that are going to be woven in this fabric right now.
You
Okay,
know it.
Oh,
so
wow. This is fascinating.
And if I may add my own thread, I
Go
like to
go
weave
in,
the
Joe. Go in, Joe.
tapestry. I would like to know the why chill hop, why metal into chill hop. That's what I want to know. How that's
Mm.
a fascinating transition. Let's hear more about that, shall we?
For sure. I'll keep that in mind. But I want to hear Cineo,
okay,
his
so
stuff. Uh-huh.
so this is multiple threads being woven even deeper, right? So we're gonna do this in like a Christopher Nolan fashion, right? Where everything's just gonna somehow interwoven at the end, right? So this is the thing, right? I've known Affluent for a considerable amount of time, right, in my life. And the thing is, I've known lyrical opposition for a considerable amount of time in my life.
Like 30 years.
Dang, when you put it like
Almost 30 years.
almost 30 years, when you put it like, I got time, man, time, right? Time. So the thing is, right, you put that in a context, almost 30 years, right? And so lyrical opposition and what they've represented in kind of the hip hop space in the local community in San Francisco was, the difference in what we identified as music in the Bay, right? And, regardless of scale, it had impact, right? Because to this day, I'm going to troll each and every member of Lyrical Opposition into making bars and verses, right? Like we're Lyrical Ones podcast, right? The name speaks for itself, right? Lyrical Ones, right? As some of you have followed or don't know, a lot of our titles are referencing different tracks and different, kind of lyrical moments in hip hop, right? So that is the undertone and that is the driving force, right, of what we do and kind of one of the many pillars of how we show up. So, Affluent may say, my identity, but guess what? He on Lyrical One's podcast, the identity speaks for itself, right? The message is there. The lyricism and the ability to create is there. It's just in what vehicle is it manifested and harnessed, right? In every member, I see that, right? Now, I'm here to troll, connecting to your ability to troll, right? So, me being the rapper with a mask and the gold teeth and having released this project called Let's Get a Gospel, right? It's kind of like this weird divine order, right? Because this project is my first, you would say, legitimate release, right? It's on all streaming platforms. People can access it. And to me, I started this process back in 2015, right? I have been making music for over 15 years. I have worked with Figo, right? When he first started off, he was just this young, wild freestyle rapper who was battling people. And I was like, yo, I need you. I need to build with you, right? I see the talent and I'm going to support you in growing as an artist, right? And so we all have gone through our own moments of redefining the relationship with music, right? So for me, with this project, there were multiple phases, right? People who were close enough knew, oh, he could rap and he could make beats and he could do this and he could do that. But I wasn't comfortable with the idea of fame and notoriety, hence the mask, right? And the mask didn't come about until I took a risk to go into like there's a producer named Illmind, Grammy Award winning, world renowned producer, Filipino dude from New Jersey, who I was familiar with from a project a while ago. And then I just saw on Instagram he was doing a class in San Francisco. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go. I'm going to pay this money, this couple $100, and I'm going to go. Now, usually I wouldn't be so quick to do it, but I was like at a point in my life where I had the means to, and I was struggling with what it is that I should do with the music, because I knew I had this body of work that I felt was amazing, but I was unsure on what direction to go in. And it's not enough to just have your peers always be like, oh, you're dope, right? Sometimes you need an outside perspective to really give you more insight to what it is you should do, right? So I took a risk. I took a leap of faith. This was 2019, and I jumped out the window, and I knew that I didn't want to be known. So if you were to look, you won't even find me unless I have a mask on. Like, and that's how, and the thing is, when I went to this one, it was in San Francisco. So what I noticed was how many people were from where I'm from in the room. And what I noticed was there was only about 4 out of about 40. So in this moment, I brought a friend, and I was almost like disappointed in the representation in the room, because we had people from Vallejo, Fairfield, Sacramento. And so it became this thing where I just got stricken with inspiration, where I was like, it was unexpected. I was like, I have to represent for my community. I have to represent for my city. I'm from San Francisco. What is going on? Right. And so in this moment, I'm like the second to last to showcase my music. And Illmind hits me with like the most, like, it was like, it hit me like a ton of bricks. He was like, have you thought about quitting your job? Now, 30 other people have gone on before me, and he hasn't said that. And I play my song, and he says, have you thought about quitting your job? And I was like getting ready to cry, because it was like the most validating moment to have this guy who I revered, who already had established a name, to tell me, you need to be doing this every day. Like, I don't know what your situation is like, but you need to quit your job, and you need to be doing this every day. And for me, it was like the green light, right? It was reinvigorated, right? That the doubt and that sense of like, what am I doing with this? Where am I going with it? Why am I even thinking about it? Immediately, I was ready to jump off a cliff, right? When they say take that leap of faith, at that moment, it could have been the roof of the highest building. I'm going to do it, right? I'm going to get my Neo on, and we're going to bounce through the ground, and we're going to do what we got to do. So to me, in this moment, it was like, okay, given that this is what I'm looking to do, and given this what just happened, it led to a series of events that ended up snowballing into this moment right now. That was back in 2019, a project that started in 2015 with a musical lineage that started back in like 2003, 2002, right? So it's like all these years I've supported others, I've been at the aid of others, I've, like, I've been nothing but, around some element of music, right? Whether I was teaching it, which built a different relationship altogether, whether it was helping people understand their own relationship with music, right? I was figuring out my relationship, which then crystallized my message, which then made me realize my purpose, right? And now I'm at a point where I've created like 3 times as much music in 4 months than I've created the whole period of time, right, that I've been doing music, right? And so to me, if everyone can do what they want, but I'm never gonna let a person give up on their dreams. I watch too much anime, and I'm too lost in the sauce, if you will, to ever let a person let go of their dreams. Like, I can't see it, because to me, it's like you tell the little kid within yourself it's time to leave, right? And it's like, I can't do that. I can't tell anyone to do that. If you choose to do it, that's a different story. But I'm not going to be the one to do it, right? And so for me, I'm as responsible and as disciplined as I could ever be in life when it comes to being, I'm married, right? I'm very much a anchor in my family, right? I'm so many things for so many people. But through that, I've been able to create boundaries. I've been able to create a tower within myself to give me a place to go. So when I need to retreat and I need to heal and I need to repair and restore myself, I can do that. And music is one of those core pillars, right? And some of the other ones is like, video games and anime, or working out, or eating healthy, right? All these different elements, right? Having relationships that exist beyond music, that the music isn't bound to, right? All of these different elements I had to define for myself. But again, it's a relationship that evolves and that takes time. It takes patience, right? And in order for you to have a real commitment to something, it's going to take patience, and patience ultimately takes time. And time is your most valuable resource. Once you start to get in alignment with that, you don't have to. You can say, screw it, I'm going to do what I want to do for the money. And by all means, do what you want to do. But for me, when I look at fulfillment, I look at people who are happy, there's these correlating themes and these reoccurring messages that grip me, that keep me awake at night, that I can't let go of, that I use as fuel. And so I find ways to adapt it and adopt it to my own life, in my own practice. And so now, today, like literally today, I get out of a meeting, I find out that it went live on Spotify. Immediately I'm texting everybody. I text the Lyrical Ones group chat. I'm hitting my people up. Like, I'm like, look, this is what's going on, right? Some people got the preview a couple days early because I knew they didn't have Spotify, but I was like, Spotify is the one that's going to give me the access to people in a different perspective, right? And so, I went and did everything I could possibly do to get this in order, right? I went and got the LLC. I went and got the mask. I went and got it copyrighted. I went and got it trademarked. But that was my process. That was my plan. That was my focus and drive to what it is ultimately, a project of 7 songs, and to build, the lore. 7 by 7 is 49 square miles, 49ers gold. You get into the deep threads of what I'm doing, right? 7 being a divine number, 7 being 7 sins. There's so many things that intersect in what I do and how I do it. I'm very methodical and very precise in my approach, right? And so in this regard, I did everything to my power within my means to take control of what it is that I wanted to do to give me the access I was looking for, right? And you've already made it clear. You have a rebel spirit. You already made it clear that you have these distinct things where it's like, yeah, that's what you want from me, but right now this is what I want for myself. And you go and you find a way to make it happen, right? And so now you live in a world where it's not easy to have access to live music, because from what I'm hearing, you sound like a live artist. You sound like a musician who feeds off of the energy of others, right? And so, yeah, this is a hibernation mode, if you will, where it's like the challenges are now being cemented, right? The bosses are getting bigger, if you will. And so now you have to level up, and it only makes sense to kind of take a step back to reassess. Like, I had a taste of the classical. I've had a case or a taste of the heavy metal. I've had a taste of the chill and tranquil. What is the next phase? What is the next step, right? It's all these different things that go on to the journey. Because the thing that I was always focused on, I was like, I'm going to pull up in a Rolls Royce, they'll see. And now it's like, it's not about that. It's about the journey. It's about what happens every step of the way and being appreciative that I have those moments, right? This could have all went left, and they could have been like, oh, the project ain't gonna get uploaded, and I'd have been defeated. But luckily I finesse, maneuver, and learned a lot to be able to get to this point to be like, okay, let me do this, because after this, there's going to be another project. There's going to be another project. There's already another project. There's so much in the pipeline right now that it meant more to me to be able to just say to my friends, look, this is what I did. Because everything else after this, it's going to be with a level of intention and purpose that is beyond the moment, right? This moment matters to me. This is what I'm willing to do. This is the sacrifice. This is the contribution I'm willing to make. And it's not for everyone, but I can tell already based off of the things that you've already established, well, things are going to just unravel as they may. And you have to be willing to take some chances and take some risks on yourself to get reacquainted with that relationship, to find how to make that love work. Because it is love there, right? We all find different ways to engage. And it's not to say that there's any one way, but there is to say that you have to find your way, and you have to be willing to explore the multiple paths as they present themselves, right? This is, Lyrical One's a podcast, but everyone that's hosting has some element of musicianship, artistry, and some love of the craft of making and creation, right? Like June is an incredible.
I do play the guitar.
I was about to say, June's an incredible artist in her own right? Vocalist, lyricist, multi-instrumental.
Where's my guitar?
I'm trying to keep up with you.
Like June, right? She's the one that helped. She created the Lyrical Ones theme song. Like, she created that. I just added stuff to what she established, right? But again, right, Alfluent, the master lyricist that he is, right, he's just laying dormant for the moment. But I've already said in the Lyrical Opposition anniversary, it's just a plan in motion, right? It's just me getting things in motion to support those who've supported me, right? Because seeing the things that Affluent has done in the past has motivated me to continue on the path, right? To see now what has been established and what's created. Because Lyrical Opposition, to me, starting off was a rap group. It was just a rap group. Now it's this overarching beast behemoth that's growing and quietly becoming this thing that is so beyond that moment of just some guys who want to rap, who want to chill and just spit some bars. But it's still that. It's still that in the core, right? You still have artists who are part of the brand and a part of the family. And here I am, right? The outside, now inside, guy who is like, yeah, I'm also supporting the movement, the brand, and what comes with Lyrical Opposition as well. So it is a thing where, Jen, to me, well, you just so happen to be in the right place at the right time. So with that, right, what was that trend, what like that high energy intensity to go from heavy metal to then kind of transform into this almost zen, chill, laid back, chill hop? What was that journey?
Wow. But before I even get to that, I feel like you've already covered the basis of my answer. So that's beautiful. But to answer the question, so when I went into college, I was not very interested, just because
Because you're an artist, because you're a creator. That's why.
Exactly. But I just, in college, I made this decision to study hard and become a good student, which is a complete contrast to high school days. So I basically changed my lifestyle.
You trolled yourself?
Yeah, that's what I did. I completely 180 my lifestyle on my priorities, then put everything into studying. And I don't know if you tried ever studying with heavy metal music. It doesn't go well together. So there's this, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the lo-fi kind of chill study music stuff. The girl with the studying pen, classic iconic. So I started listening to that, and that was kind of like my go-to jam for years. And then eventually, all those elements in the song that really like, I think it really grew on me, and I started to like really research and really listen to, and why do I like this so much? And then next thing you know, I started making chill out beats, and yeah. So it's funny how it's just a reflection of my decision and my transitions in life. So it really is.
And
This is amazing.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, shout out to Cuddy. Cuddy stays hidden, but Cuddy is a good friend of mine, Cuddy LeBlanc, and now they've gone into the culinary arts, right? But before they were cooking up food, they were cooking up beats, and that was my first exposure to chill hop, chill wave, kind of lo-fi, down tempo hip hop, right? Like we were very, to kind of I guess give some backing to like the, at least for my relationship to chill hop, because when you bring it up, it strikes a chord. Dilla, right? Jay Dilla from Detroit, the producer, right? Who is incredible, who's done so many amazing things inside music. I remember my first acknowledgement of him was Pharrell at 106 in Park when he said, "The best producer ever in the world is Jay Dilla. His drums, they knock." Right. And I was like, who's that? And then fast forward to Adult Swim, and they would have these music blocks that would play between shows. And I was like, what is this music? I'm like, what in the world is playing?
The purist.
We had this record store called Virgin Records that was in the center of downtown San Francisco, and I would go there religiously just to listen to stuff, find stuff. and they had J Dilla Donuts, and I would listen to it, and I'd be like, this is from Cartoon Network. Oh my God. So I'm listening to it for the association, not realizing his legacy, his history, his influence as a whole, and how far it goes back to some of my favorite records, right? We're talking about, A Tribe Called Quest. We're talking about De La Soul. We're talking about Busta Rhymes. We're talking about Common, right? I think even Far Side. Like this goes deep, right? But in that moment, I'm just like Cartoon Network, right? Anime, cartoons, blah, 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 hip hop. I love hip hop, but that's not my association with it, right? I'm all about the rock. So in this moment, I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. So I start making that same type of music. My friends start making that same type of music. And even in that situation and scenario, like I still try and troll Cuddy to come back into production. So I'm like, you know what? Let me go make some money so I could just drop this bag on you and you ain't got no choice but to work again, right? Because, sometimes that is an influence. Maybe it's not the best motivation, but money can motivate people. So, I just had to give my little piece of chill hop because it is it's like this process of discovery that's so heartwarming, right? Like even when you look at the image of the girl on YouTube and she's just drawing or writing or studying by the window and the cat's just chilling, like it's just something about it that's so calming, right? And that's so different than heavy metal, right? Like we talking about Axl Rose, who's like screaming and belching and literally like digging deep into his soul, right? And I mean, now I don't even know what to make of him as a person, but he still maintains some of that hectic energy if you're ever to see him in more recent times. But chill hop is like the exact opposite of that. So it's almost like the music supported your transformation, or at least your commitment to like, you know what, I'm gonna be a good student. So I need music that's gonna support me, that's gonna like encourage me to get through this new kind of phase of my life. And so now, well, like what was the last kind of chill hop thing that you made? Like when was that moment where it's like, okay, I haven't made something since this moment?
I want to say sometime towards the end of summer. And then I think I started to make another transition from that musically, sonically. Yeah, that was the phase.
Okay. So what has been some of the things that you've been listening to or been like, gravitating to in terms of like your musical tastes and choices?
Definitely more hip hop, soul, old school stuff. More blues,
like who
I
would you say?
guess.
I was gonna say, go ahead, Jude.
No, I was just gonna say,
Yeah.
like, who are your influences? We know who your influences are for like metal, but like, who would you say, like, if we, the fans of so and so are going to love your music, right? Because it's in that same lane, or
For sure. Let's see. Some right off the top of my head. Burnhoff. Are you guys familiar with him? Burnhoff. I recently found out Sampa the Great.
Okay.
Really like them. Moonchild. Kiefer, as he was one of my favorite. I think he was a big figure in converting me to making beats and then into more hip hop stuff. And then kind of the new age Anderson .Paak. So yeah, all those kind of more groovy type of soul, indie soul.
right.
So go ahead, June. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, you mentioned Anderson .Paak, and he's really taking off into a new genre of like this future funk kind of deal going on. This like this space disco, like that's one direction that I've seen like a new trend that's coming out. Like, can we expect any new trends from your music?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. And in the future, hopefully, when I decide to release music, there will be a lot of elements from that genre for sure.
All right, Jen, I got an idea on your way out of your creator's block, right? As you chisel your way out, I think what's gonna help you is visiting um, these genres that you're listening to now with your guitar, right? Because right now you're really in this space of listening to the roots of your roots, right? So you're in this blues and chill hop phase, right? Which is like the soul music of today and the soul music of the past, right? And so like the blues, right, is the grandparent of rock and roll, right? And so you were always a blues head,
Yeah.
right? You were always that before you were exposed to it, in the context. And I was going to ask you that because after listening to so much rock, you have to love blues if you once you hear it.
Yeah.
Um, and it's just again, right, that time of unearthing it, and then right, where does that lineage start, right? So if you say, right, Slash, right, and is it whether it's death metal or Primus or whatever, right, or Jim Morrison, like whoever it is, right, or if it's the Ramones, right, if it was punk rock, like wherever you are in your electric guitar, right, you can go back to the blues and say, right, this storytelling came from here, right, and not just the lyrical storytelling, but the musicality of journey from beginning to end, in a song. And and I think that's exactly what chill hop is. When you talk about Jay Dilla and the way he tells a story, right, and especially when you talk about Donuts or any of his collabs, where he's taking taking the listener and starting them in one place and then bringing them somewhere. Um, and so I think for you, when you think about the thematic tones of your life, right, and you start to give a timeline to your life musically, right, you start to play that. I think that's going to be something that that becomes a marquee and a signature in your music.
Yeah. That's word. Yeah, that's good word.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think
That's
it's
the whole word.
not. Yeah, it's not by accident. It's not by accident, right? Like like God knows exactly what He wants you to hear when He wants you to hear it.
Yeah, yeah. That's for sure.
And right, the more we get to know God and our Creator, the more we get to know our design, the more we get to communicate the way, right, He does, right, the way he or she does, the way we get to learn, we get to hear with the divine, we get to speak with the divine, right? So, right, if we start out not being able to communicate like God, and then we learn God's heart, right, then we start to move and think, right, thoughts similar, right, in tune, right. So all it is going to move closer to that, right. Say, well, God doesn't always talk to me in words, right? Sometimes He talks to me in colors, right? Sometimes He talks to me in nature and in wind and in sound, right? So the way I'm supposed to talk back is maybe the way that I process, right? So it's like if I'm an audible learner, right, then that's what I need to do is listen, right? If I'm a visual learner,
Mm-hmm.
then I need to see, right? Right.
Mm-hmm.
If I need to touch, then that's how I'm going to learn,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so I think you're in a space where you're fully aware, of how you process things. And so I'm excited for, what's coming next.
Mm. Yeah. Man, I thought I was coming for an interview session, but it feels more like a counseling session right now.
We counseling
Hey,
each other,
I'm
man.
excited too.
That's what art is, man. We counsel each other.
True that. True that. I mean, all else fails, you could throw the guitar away and pick up the recorder. It's nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't ever doubt the power of a good kazoo or harmonica. I prefer kazoo, but you know what I'm saying? It's just one of those things. You got to figure out what is the relationship for yourself, right? Get in tune with the
Word.
infinite just means getting more and deeper in tune with yourself, right? Understanding
Yeah.
what the conversation wasn't like back then when I was making music and I was reckless and running around wild. There wasn't enough conversation in the studio about how do you love yourself better, right? Like that just was so far away from anything. Like, but it's essential. It is necessary because even if the music is a reflection of harm and negativity and destruction, you have to figure out within yourself first, like, what are you getting to when it gets down to the bottom of all those layers, right? And ultimately, you're just trying to figure out how to be better to yourself, right? And really, that just means discovering what love means to you and just you. It can't be defined by anybody else, right? And like, as an artist, we have such a love and appreciation for the art form. Like when we get that with that new music, like, oh my goodness, it's like this, I needed this. This hit right on time, right? But a lot of times that just struck a chord that was already in you, right? Like it was just already something built in you that this attached itself to, that now has become magnified and is now manifested in this like physical space, the world we live in, right? So a good kazoo, man, get a good kazoo, you be all right. You know what I'm saying? Just hit the kazoo one time and you be like, oh man, I've been missing these tones right here. This
So you can layer that on top. Oh, look, okay, we already got the vision, we already got the instruments, we all what you need. You need a plug in. I mean, can you connect a MIDI with that? No, I'm just kidding.
And then you end up making like the next big EDM record, and then we never see you again, and you be living on an island. I mean, the story writes itself.
Yeah.
And the story starts here.
We're at a crossroads.
Yeah, and I mean, what are you listening to nowadays? Like, what are some of the artists and music that you've been jamming to?
You know what? Actually, here's a little funny story. I just shared I was feeling really kind of funky with music, and just one day randomly, one of my friends texted me Chris Staple album. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but it was from a Room Volume 1, the album. And then it's like a classic country blues album. And then the first song is called Broken Halo. And I was driving, and then that song broke out, and I started crying, bawling out of control. And I was like listening to this groove, soul, funk, rock stuff, and then now suddenly I'm bawling my eyes out to this country song, and it's just I think it really like spoke to my past and the core of my interest, and my attraction towards just kind of guitar-based music. So I think for some reason, a lot of guitar-based music I'm really drawn towards. I don't know what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's something built in you. You know what I'm saying? Some discovery you're gonna find out much deeper later. But just to kind of touch on the thread of country music, like people often like to create like the association of country music, where it's a lot of times people almost speak of it in a negative connotation, but people, it takes time for the discovery to kind of take places. It's some of the most soulful and like just heartfelt lyricism and songwriting and production. Like there's a certain energy and aura that's created within country music that it can definitely draw that out of you. And I think that it doesn't get enough credit, but it's because people try to create this like monolithic scope of what country music is when it's very broad and very, all over and far reaching. And so, Chris Stapleton, is an example of that kind of, because there is I don't want to call it a new country music, but there is a new era and movement that's happening within country music where it's a lot more thoughtful, deep, introspective, progressive in its approach and kind of its content, that people are, even classic country heads are like alarmed at kind of how these artists are showing up and making their music. So, I'm not surprised, man. A song when it hits, when it gets you, it got you, right? And it just takes you down that road. So it's like it's it's those things that create those new forms of exploration, right? Discovery
Yeah,
is like, the joy of surprise. And, that's the beauty of being able to have a moment like that, right? A friend just like, listen to this. Because I know
yeah,
I love it when my friends do that. When they hit me with that new music and I'm like, hey, I didn't even know. And then I'm gotta zone out, gotta
yeah,
step away from the world, gotta get in myself, right? And go into another space.
yeah,
I feel it, man.
yeah.
So are you right now like tinkering around with anything? Like what does the creative process look like for you now these days? Is it like, pull out the phone and just make some like record a burp or two and just be like, all right, I'm gonna save that for another day?
No, actually, so the church I'm at currently in Santa Ana, we just opened up kind of songwriting sessions for different artists. So I'm definitely approaching that as a session guitarist or as a kind of guy to instrumentalist in there. So right now, like, I'll go into a handful of different sessions, and it ranges from this singer-songwriter to R&B to this really super pop. Um, so I'm not just trying to go in there and figure out a guitar part or like trying to see how the song would fit in certain projects. Um, yeah, so just collaborating with different genres of music and different artists, and that's kind of where I am. And I think it's very needed, this kind of thing, rather than just making beats on my own. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
something
Well,
about
hey,
making
Jen,
music with different people is very enriching.
I for
What are
one
you
would
gonna
love
say?
to work with you.
Is that so?
Yeah, of
What do
course.
you?
I have a whole EP of acoustic tracks that I've yet to release. I mean, we can make it vibey, we can make it hip hoppy, chill hoppy, country. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't matter, but which direction it pulls. I mean, look, we got
Yeah,
material. We're artists. We create. And I'm just gonna extend that invitation to everybody in this in this Lyrical Ones podcast. So,
look at that plug right there. But yeah, hit me up anytime. Um, yeah, I'm always open to. I just love music. I love making music, the process of it. So I'm really open to anything.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to put it out there, as much as we are talking, it is to be mindful to the listeners. Those of you who have a creative spirit, I understand that in these times it is very difficult to like be able to, you know, get those meaningful and kind of in-depth connections because we can't always be in person, but collaboration and being around other people's artistry is a must. However you can find it, however you can get it, collaboration and working with others is necessary. Like I can't like I come from the community aspect where I've worked at service to the community since I've been making music, right? That was the thing that I did. So at the end of the day, it's a thing where, people please be mindful that there's nothing wrong with seeking out others and trying to get connected and just find them as you can. Like figure out what are those threads that mean something to you because the best thing about being a session guitar player is that you get to develop yourself in a like an artistic way that you wouldn't if it was just you by yourself, right? You're being pushed, you're being forced. You have to like be responsible to others, and it creates another level of like skill set that you start getting in tune with where a person's going and the vibe and their energy and how to develop and create off of that. So for those listening, like it is necessary from somebody who used to run classes with artists who were up and coming, who now like there's artists out there who are making some major moves who came from those classes, but again, a lot of their major moves were based in collaboration. And it isn't to say that they haven't broken away and become solo artists in their own right, because they definitely have. But when people really started taking notice, it was from the collaborations that they did and they made. And so, I totally understand like getting in the zone in a different degree where it's like it's not about you, right? It's as much as what you can give as it is about you. So as always, you are chosen as much as you choose to be. And it sounds like you
Mm.
definitely choosing yourself to show up and be the person that people can rely on. So, Jen, where can people find your music? Where can people find your stuff? Like how can people get connected to you?
Well, at the moment, the only kind of active social media is on Instagram, uh, and it's basically at JIN underscore 0 underscore O underscore Lee, Lee. Um, that's it. That's where you can find me. And hopefully in the future, I'll have more music on different platforms. That's what I'm working towards at the moment.
Okay, that's what's up. Definitely gonna be on the lookout to see what you cook up. Check out the Gin and June, like gin and juice, but Gin and June project.
I like the sound of that.
2022.
Coming at ya.
Jen, like I really appreciate your time and your energy and your space and you sharing and being open with us, about your process. We all go through it. I'm happy today, but I'm just trying to be appreciative and thankful of the moment because at any moment it could turn left and I'm gonna be like right back to Moody Jude and I'm like so we go through the motions, we go through the experiences, but I am definitely eager to see what is the next iteration of Jen's music look like. And do you have anything you like to share with anybody or anything you like to say? Don't want to take up too much of your time.
No, not much. Thank you guys for all the encouragements and all the prophetic words. So appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me.
No, Jen, we appreciate you so much. Thank you for spending this time and taking this time with us. Reach out to Jen on Instagram. It's Jen underscore 0 underscore, is it
Letter O.
letter O? Okay. And then is it LE?
Underscore Lee.
Underscore Lee. That's my full name, Korean name, Jin O Lee.
Jen Oli. All right. So everybody be on the lookout. Get connected. Rewind this. Get to know. And let's see what happens next with Jen. So Jen, thank you. I appreciate your energy. Appreciate the space. And let's see what happens next.
Yes, sir. Pleasure, guys.
Thanks, Drew. Thanks, Jen.
Thank you. That was great.
So Jen is, definitely inspiring me, keeping me on my toes, making me feel like I gotta get my grind on. I gotta go get my classical guitar lessons going. I might have to get my heavy metal phase going. And it's crazy because it's like the everything he was saying, it kept making me think of the fact that Alfluent's wearing a Dragon Ball do-rag and that Thundercats music is like this amalgamation of so much music in one space. And it's guitar driven, right? He plays the bass guitar. I think it's a 12 string, which is crazy in its own right. But it's this thing where like, Thundercat is jazz, rock, R&B, hip hop, pop, like all this just crazy swirl of everything. And it's just like, to me, the Drunk album is my album of the decade for the year like 2010 to 2020. Like there's not an album that, he did release other music, he has released other music, but for what it's worth, that album, oh my goodness. I just two albums I love for the decade of the year, for the years 2000 to 2010, Daft Punk Discovery. For the years 2010 to 2020, Thundercats Drunk. Those two albums, bury me with those records, please. How y'all feeling? June, what's going on? What you thinking about?
Really though, wow. Okay, now I gotta think of my records of the decade, but I'm gonna have to get back to y'all on that. But I mean, that's some serious artistry.
No, definitely some serious artistry. I'm like, so much work I got to do. It's making me now reflect, like, where do I get deeper in tune with to cook up, serve some things that I ain't been doing. I need to get back to my production roots because I've been on the songwriter heavy script. So, there's some things I need to do, some threads I need to tie up with June as well. Now that I'm like reflecting, I'm like, there's some work that needs to be done. hopefully,
You know where to find me, dog.
done. Let me know. Send me that text. You know what I'm saying? We got some things to pay. Alfluent, what you got on your head? What you thinking? You know, beyond Dragon Ball Durag.
I'm wondering, did you produce on Let's Get It Gospel?
So Let's Get a Gospel was production. Majority of it was done by me. I had King helped me out on the tracks Haze, Hill, and the intro. Um, like the thing about the intro and the outro is the same beat.
Right.
But what ended up happening was I created two different variations of it. And so the intro he took and he then added like the bass and added like his own pieces and little parts. And then with Hayes, it was a collaborative effort because I started with the initial bass of the track where it was a sample and some drums. And then he just went and he got crazy
He
with
got
it.
loose.
He definitely got loose on that one. And then Hill, he sent me the sample as a loop and he didn't know what to do with it. And I was like, bruh, I got you.
Nice.
There's two artists featured on there. One is Kata, who's singing on Hayes, who, you know, I needed. That was the final piece of the project, honestly. Like, I actually brought this, for those that know, Dreamier Entertainment, the CEO, the boss, the director, the producer, Deshaun Davis, who is like, you know, we connected years ago, but I went to him to his studio because I was like, I got this project, I don't know what to do with it. And he was like, you need to get somebody singing on this. And I was like, you know what, that's what I was missing, right? That goes back to collaboration. So, you know, I went back and yeah, it was one of those things where I ended up kind of thinking like, okay, how do I get my cousin in one spot so I can get to the next piece, right? And so that's kind of how it all came together. So it was like, you know, it's a thing where it was beautiful, right? Because it is somebody who I believe in their talent and their artistry, but was able to deliver right on this experience and what I was trying to get across. Because again, like to have a project called Let's Get a Gospel, the reason why I was called that is because I feel like so often when you're an artist, you have to drive yourself and create your own theme music to be like, you know, we gonna do it, we gonna get it, we gonna get it. Watch, we getting it. This, we on our way, we gonna make it happen, right? And it becomes this thing like, let's get it, like let's get it. Every time you step into a situation, it's like, let's get it. And so these songs were like those foundational moments of like, you know what, I'm going after it, I'm making it real, I'm legitimizing my experiences by saying I'm going after something more for myself, whether that's eating healthy, whether that's challenging the status quo, whether that's not objectifying women and placing them in this category of like, you're my love interest, but being able to magnify my, you know, my love beyond just the romanticism, right? Like every song is a different reflection of like going after something more than what was given to me, right? And so, you know, it's a project where, you know, I put a lot of energy into it, and you know, I hope people can enjoy it. There's a lot of things that are familiar about the project that was all intentional. It was all, you know, super necessary for what I wanted to do with this project. But moving forward, you know, I got a lot of stuff of a lot of different varieties. So, you know, this is just this is one slice of a multifaceted, multi-layered, so many flavors pie that I'm about to be giving everybody this year coming up. And so, yeah, that's Let's Get a Gospel in a nutshell. You know, 7 songs, 30 minutes long on all major platforms. Go and get your issue. I mean, it's SINEO. Get connected, right? And you know, I gotta say on Diamonds was the track that, you know, for those that know, when you listen to it, it's very familiar to a song of a similar title. And that was started by Be True. Be True is a longtime collaborator and friend, and he had did a fast one on me that I hated. I hate this as a producer. This is what I hate. I hate when you send me a song and then you say, "All right, I want you to make the beat over." Don't do that to me, because I'm the person that I'm like, to me, especially at this moment, you gotta remember, I was 2014 me, and 2014 me was limited in scope. Now you send me something, I'm like, okay, I'll work it, I'll make it happen. But 2014 me, I'm like, hell no, you better back up, get away from me. I don't need this. I want to go make what I want to make. You can't tell me what to do. Now I'm a little bit more gospel because I've learned and developed skills, right? Shout out to Illmind. But in this moment, he's like, yeah, this beat, and I loved it. I was on the song. I was like, oh, this is amazing. We gonna get it, right? We gonna get it with this one. And it was for his project. And he's like, yeah, I need you to remake it. And the Diamonds hook was already made. The song, the lyrics was already played. And he was like, can you? And I'm like, what am I gonna do? And the hook, we're saying diamonds, pressure, 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 what that make diamonds, right? And I'm like, well, there's only one thing I could possibly think of. So let me go find that, chop it up.
Nice.
And that became a whole new beast, right? So shout out to Be True. He's on the song with us. We're going back and 4-bar. Like it's like 4 bars, 2 bars, 1 bar, half a bar, quarter bar, then literally like chop like bar to bar to bar. But it's a project that has a lot of meaning to me, and based on how many listens it gets to, this most likely will be a limited time experience given a lot of what the songs have in them. So
that's right,
boy, as you see fit, and run it up by all means. Help me catch a case. Listen to this project. That's what I'm asking. Help me catch a case, right? Because the more
I got a plan right now.
Thank you very much. I appreciate, what I'm saying, trying to get it out there. It's on all major platforms. Get your issue. You could look it up on YouTube and listen to it on there, please. Like, holla at your boy. So yeah, let's get a gospel.
And I think you released it at the perfect time because like the 2020 artist wrap up for Spotify just came out. So I mean, the way you timed it is that so when it comes out for 2021, I'm sure it'll still count the tracks, and if it doesn't, you'll still have a jump off for this project. But if you guys don't mind me putting a plug for my project, 160,000 streams worldwide. Justin Engel is the artist, and his album, The Divine Project, and track number 8, Virtuous Woman, I sang and co-wrote. So I just wanted to put that in there. Okay, Justin Engel, incredibly talented producer, artist, musician, everything. So he's in the Bay, he's local San Jose, and he has just to do some more PR on the album, okay? He has a beer out, an IPA that's actually homegrown at Hermitage's Brewery in San Jose, California. It's called Staycation after his hit single, which the video was dope. Okay, so I just had to put that in and show mad love because that's what's up.
Hey.
Shout out to June for getting some numbers on the board in the year 2020. Okay, June was
200,000 practically.
Then got a song released. Then did the theme song for the Lyrical Ones podcast, and has a ton of incredible pop music coming that y'all ain't even ready for. So trust me, June got some things cooking, brewing, steaming for y'all. Like, it's crazy.
Thank you, and I'm trying to graduate and then get this master's. So you know what I'm saying, okay.
June is a woman on fire, right? When Alicia Keys, right, girl is on, like, June is a woman on fire right now, okay? Unstoppable, making it happen, right? Done lived it up, celebrated, had the llamas and the goats. Like, we gonna get it, right? That's June right now. June's on the way. Like, be on the lookout. I mean, it's some extra things we can't even talk about that possibly, but right, we manifest the energy, we put forth that energy. And June is out to get it. All the big fishes, right?
Speaking of things on the way and coming up, things we can talk about. We do got some announcements for y'all.
Announcements. So for those who know and those that are familiar, usually we do this earlier in the podcast, but there's no time like the present. And it's just for y'all to stay familiar, right? So first up, make sure to join our Lyrical Assembly Reads for Resistance book that happens every Saturday at 9 a.m. This week, we are reading the conclusion or the concluding chapter of the book, Decolonizing Evangelicalism. If you are interested in joining, email Lacey, Lacy, at lyricalopposition.org, right? That's Lacey at lyricalopposition.org to get connected to the Lyrical Assembly Reads for Resistance book that happens every Saturday at 9 a.m. Again, they are concluding the chapter. They're on the concluding chapter of the book, Decolonizing Evangelicalism. So if you're interested, get connected. Also, If you want to get connected, stay connected, and be a part of the online community, you can join the Discord server, which is Lyrical Opposition at 415-903-7699. Again, that's the Lyrical Opposition Discord server, 415-903-7699, 415-903-7699, and forever. That is the Discord server for the Lyrical Opposition community. Come and get connected. And after that, on Sundays, the Lyrical Assembly broadcast every Sunday, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, right? That's the West Coast folks, which we so happen to be from right now, West Coast, West Side, right? That is for you to be able to tune in. If you have interest, if you have passion, if you have anything along the lines of faith, arts, and activism, that is the place for you. Sunday mornings, 10 a.m., Lyrical Assembly broadcast. And then December 19th at 7 p.m., Lyrical Assembly is hosting an event called Sacred Stories, a listening session with the indigenous voices, where they will be sitting down with Kalina Lawrence, an indigenous hip hop artist, and Dr. Randley Woodley, an indigenous professor, the theologian, wisdom keeper. Make sure to come through for this event. Again, that's December 19th, 7 p.m. It is Lyrical Assembly Sacred Stories. It is a listening session with indigenous voices. That is Kalina Lawrence, and we have Dr. Randy Woodley. Get connected, please. Stay connected. We are busy. We are out here. We are supportive of the good vibes and good energy. So please, everybody, there's multiple entry points to get on the Lyrical Opposition train, right? We get slow when we need to be slow. We fast when we need to be fast. But at all times, we are available for the people and the masses to get on board. So holla at the respective connects, Lacey at lyricalopposition.org, or if it's the Discord server, that's 415-903-7699. But again, stay connected, stay informed, and, get some faith, get some love, and enjoy the opportunities of advancement, progress, and being around like-minded individuals, right? They all about the business. So, that's Lyrical Opposition. You feel me? So, as we wind down, anybody got any final thoughts, any final words, anything on their mind right now?
Well, I just want to say, just for the Discord, like, folks, if you're really looking to collab, hop in there, because we got artists in there. We got a voice chat in there, where you can play your music. We could jump in the open mic, jump in the cipher. Like it's a cool tool for us to build community, and we're right there at your fingertips. You can access from your desktop, you can access from your phone or a tablet, and we're looking into having a movie night. So stay tuned for that.
Lyrical Opposition doing the most. Always. Lyrical Opposition. Dylan, how about you? Any final thoughts, any final words for the people that are listening in the comfort of their own bubbles?
I just want to say thank you to all the listeners out there, and to all the viewers, and to my co-host and our production team, and LO as a whole. And I'm looking forward to the best is before us.
True. The best is before us. You're right. You're ever so right. I think that is a safe spot to jump off. I appreciate everyone. I appreciate this time. Everyone be safe. If you can find a way to be thankful for the moment, because you don't know what's coming next. As this year has shown us, aliens is on the way, and they just coming to get me to take me home. But for y'all, I don't know what they're gonna do for y'all. But for me, it's just my ride back to where I came from. So, just be in mind. You know what I'm saying? They say it's the most wonderful time of the year. I'll let you be the judge of that for yourself. But I do want to say that, find the beauty and the joy in it, right? If you can. If you can't, find somebody who can share some of theirs with you. And for you that do have it, share it with somebody who needs it, right? This is a time where, the days are shorter, the nights are longer, and it's tough, right? Everyone has their own stressors and their own things that they're dealing with. And so, please, by all means, stay connected, find your community, and we're going to do our best to find you. So, I think that kind of sums it up. And as we always like to do at this time, I'm not going to necessarily go for mine, but I am going to go for what June helped produce and create. So
that's big of you. Run.